on time like always.
Right.
And we're fucking live here on the air with the Boneyard on a Sunday, Thanksgiving Canadian fucking Sunday. And thank you so much for coming on tonight, man. Please introduce yourselves. Let us know what's going on, bud.
For me, I'm Chris. I'm the lead guitarist from the band Eaten by Sharks. We're Eaten by Sharks is out of Southern Ontario, Niagara region. We play progressive death metal, I guess.
Oh yeah. I got it. It was nice. I got a chance to sit back after work and listen to a lot of it, like Shallow Water, Apex Predator, fucking fantastic. Very technical though, man. Like, were you trained, or is that just something you could always do as soon as you picked up a guitar?
I think it was the kind of music that I learned that I used to learn how to play guitar was, of course, I start with the basics, Nirvana and some, alternative like rock, I guess. But then as I just wanted the heavy, and you start to learn the Metallicas, and you get into death, and then you start to get into more progressive and stuff like that. So I kind of love that kind of thing. I couldn't really like learn a lot of it, so I figured, you know what? Instead of like trying to learn other people's riffs, I'm just gonna try and make my own up, and that's how it just started. Just like as soon as I could record myself, it was just you know how can I make something that sounds technical with I have a little bit of a background in some theory, but definitely not a lot. I always wanted to learn more, but yeah,
No,
that's it. That's how I got there.
no, I'm the same. I got tired. Everyone growing up, it was like half riff. You learned like the intro to Inner Sandman, and then a little piece of fucking Stairway to Heaven. So I got tired of only learning that, and then I just started writing my own music, like you said, and then it just evolved from there. And then you pick up some styles and some things jamming with people here and there, right? But
Oh,
eventually,
that's a big one.
oh, jamming with people, oh, that's where
Yeah,
you learn. That's how you learn, right?
yeah. That's where I got a little bit of theories from. Bought a book on scales or something. I think I
Yeah.
just went to a local music store, found it, and just kind of started figuring it out and figuring out like okay, different keys are pretty much the same patterns. They just feel sad or feel angry or feel happy or whatever, right? So just kind of go from
Oh,
there, jam with people.
no, 100%, man. That's how you feel. Like, now that I'm older and have this understanding, a whole new understanding or intelligence about music, everybody here never not good. It's never not bad. Like it all depends on who hears it. But when I hear you guys play, I love that heavy. I love that very aggressive, that very fast paced guitar, the aggressive vocals. Like I just crave
Yeah,
it almost. Like I don't know
it's like black
what it
coffee,
is.
right? What it
Everyone,
gets,
like,
what black.
go ahead, man. Go.
Oh no, yeah, like I feel what you're saying. It's like black coffee, right? Once it gets its fingers into you, you got to have it. I don't necessarily like drinking black coffee, but I force myself to like it, and I can't get enough of it. It's kind of like when I was going into death metal with the vocals, right? Because everybody's like, I don't like all that screaming and stuff. I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna listen to this until it gets good, and then it's now that I can, you can almost like understand it like just without reading lyrics anymore, just because you've like pounded it into your existence, and it's like it doesn't music doesn't sound as aggressive unless it has that heavy vocal on it. As soon as the vocals start doing some clean stuff, it changes the dynamic. Like it could be the heaviest riff, but if there's like a really cool melody over top of it, softens it a bit. But like with death metal or a guy that really like gets into like all the different dynamics that you can do in that screaming kind of type thing, you could really get some good stuff going on, but it just adds that aggression to it, right? It's like, and like, I don't know, like in this day and age, I feel like the older I'm getting, the more angry I'm getting. It's like, put on some Cannibal Corpse or some, there's some really angry stuff out there, like Kubla Khan or Spite. And they it just like it's dangerous to do, but it feels so good at the same time, right?
Oh, even Megalodon was the last song I heard before we jumped in. I was like, oh, it just gets every song I heard got better, more aggressive. But you guys, you stuck to that scene, like eaten by sharks. Like that's so cool. It's all like shallow water, apex predator, megalodon. Like you kept a theory and a story in that sense to your album, which you normally don't see unless it's death metal or heavy metal. you know.
Right. Yeah, I don't know. It just kind of came up with that idea. The name kind of got floated by as something that we could, relate to our band and like kind of have a representation of the extreme stuff that we're doing. Hey, what's more extreme than getting eaten by a shark or drowning at the same time? Like your lungs filling up with blood as you're dying. It's like, that sounds cool. Let's go with that. And then it's just like, wait, there's a whole bunch of stuff we can pull from here, and it's it just keeps coming. It's like everything we have to do has a little bit of like maybe a nautical or aquatic kind of theme, right? So it's like it doesn't necessarily have to be exactly a shark all the time, but it's just like in that kind of realm, right?
It's that realm. Like I have the old nautical fucking compass tattooed on my hand, the world map, but I have like the old school sea monsters in between all the worlds and stuff, right? Like that's what it makes me think of my arm piece every time I hear it. It becomes personal to me in that sense. Like yeah, that's pretty cool, man. I love it. But like even growing up, what were like some of the aggression bands that you listen to that weren't mainstream? Like we always lead back to Motorhead and Pantera, but nobody
Yeah,
talks about like Death or Cannibal Corpse and shit, you know.
yeah.
So,
I think for me, like a couple bands that stuck out were Entombed. Yeah, I'm a big fan of Entombed. Their third album, Wolverine Blues, was just like nothing I've ever heard before. It was, it was like a death metal plus like they were kind of getting a little bit raunchy into like that kind of hardcore style. I love that. Like it just sounds like such a dirty album, and it's not a lot of like double bass or anything in it. But it's just
mhm.
like the beats that guy play were so aggressive. The guitar just sounds like just mushy, like very dirty, but yeah, in the best way possible. Carcass too. Love the Carcass stuff. Death, that's a good one. Meshuggah, when they first came out, I remember like listening to them in the early '90s. I'd never heard anything like that before, and I don't. There's bands that like definitely pull influence by them, but when Meshuggah comes on, you know it's Meshuggah.
Oh yeah, 100%. The very first note, you're like, I know this band, I know this song, you know. But
Yeah, it's gonna be off time, but it's still gonna groove, right?
yeah, oh, 100%, man. So you're just getting off work too. I'm working all weekend. I'm working tomorrow too, you know what I mean? But I get next weekend off, but I only work the season. I'm off for the winter, so you're stuck doing the grind too. Everyone thinks we're all rock stars and just travel on buses and party with cocaine and hookers.
Yeah, I
you
know.
know.
I know. It's not that. You're just like somebody wants to come backstage and see what's going on. It's just a guy warming up on guitar. It's like, what else are you doing? Like, this is the guy over there
Right?
playing Candy Crush, and this guy over here is just, we're just fighting not to like, give in to the need to drink beer all the time. Because then, like, especially playing like tech metal, like, it takes that shine off of it. You know what I mean? Like, unless you practice like half wasted all the time, which I guess you could say we do that a little bit, but you definitely getting show ready and stuff like that. You got to concentrate.
It's
Like you're just pumped
amazing
up, get ready for it, and
talking.
then you go play.
Well, talking to so many bands, especially in this field, we mainly cover death metal, heavy metal, and doom and stuff, right?
Cool. Yeah.
And sure, we like the party and stuff, but when we hit that stage, everyone's pretty well sober for the most part. You know what I mean? Like, sure, you might have a drink, smoke half a doob or something, but
Yeah, just to get the right headspace.
you know what I mean? It's not you're not out there like passed out on hammered.
Well, like I think everybody's made their mistakes a few times, but then you get that the call the next day from one of the guys in the band saying like, "Guy, you got to chill out on that shit." You know?
Yeah,
But for the most part, that's what you got.
no, it's so true. Everyone laughs at Ted Nugent. The guy doesn't drink drugs. He's always, you other dopers don't even come on my stage. But he has a very good point when it comes to that. Like, do you really want your guitar player puking or passing out halfway through the show? Or how many awesome bands have we seen where they've canceled because they're so fucked up they can't even play and shit? Like that
Hey,
sucks up.
you know what? You're right there. Like it's we've seen some of our favorite musicians and people that we look up to that like we talk about, you're getting the claws into you, but it can be a bad way, and the demons of like always going out, and whenever you're playing you got to have a beer, right? You got to do this, you got to do that. And once that becomes too much of a habit, a bad habit, like it could go wrong really bad, right? Your health, you're getting older, you can't handle that shit anymore. But no, I'm not taking it away from it, because trust me, I do like to indulge in having a beers and hanging out with the boys. But you got to be everything in moderation, I guess, right?
Yeah, there's always a professionalism backstage, and for the most part, for what I've seen in the later years of the industry now, like it's no longer producers throwing you money and cocaine and hookers anymore, like it used
No,
to be back in the 60s and 70s, right? Like a lot of you guys, especially, we're all independent for the most part, and we have
yeah,
a reputation to uphold with the other bands, or even being allowed on gigs with other bands, or collaborating and shit. People are like, no, they fucking party too much, man. There's no way they're coming on tour with us. Like we'll do a
that's
local show with them.
that's just it. Like you're still like doing that grind in a way of like trying to get your music out there. You don't want to ruin relationships with other people, and that first impression goes a long way. So you don't want to be like, hey man, that's not usually me, like trying to make those excuses. You got to be like, okay, if we're going to show up at a showcase, or we're going to go on tour with a band, or go play a show with a band, we got to show our best, have a good time and all that kind of stuff. But you don't want to be that. You don't want to be that band that's like, getting wasted and doesn't show up, or start throwing up all over everybody's equipment or stuff like that, right?
Right? Like, I got this big one I'm doing here in October again. I got a host, and there's six bands that are playing, and then fucking. But I gotta introduce all the bands. I'm doing all the cooking. Got the hotel. Like, as much as I want to be partying and shit, man, I can't be like, 30 beers deep, fucking try and do all this professionally in that sense, right? As much
Oh
fun
yeah,
as it wouldn't come off very well live on the air.
well, it might be great the first couple bands, like, oh, that was kind of funny, it's kind of getting a little bit buzzed, and then by the end of it, you're like a train wreck. You know what I mean?
Yeah. No, 100%. That would not look good at all, right?
No, no, and to your point, like you've got a six-bander. I got a show coming up, I think August the 22nd. I got like 8 bands on that one too, and I've it's in our hometown, so I gotta play
Oh, fuck.
host to it as well. So you gotta make sure that you're good to go all the way through. Make sure the bands are like setting up at the right time. Any issues happen, you're there to do it. But you can't do that if like you're worried about getting having a beer every 2 seconds, right?
Oh, yeah. Where'd my beer go? Oh, fuck. Now I got to piss. Now another beer. Let's go smoke a tube. Next thing you've done nothing but get hammered and wasted. Time
Yeah.
flies quick when you're busy like that. So,
Oh yeah.
but,
You know what? You don't have
show,
time to do that shit.
yeah, here in Ontario, you just mentioned you're hosting a big 8-bander coming up here real soon. We are, as the Boneyard, as internationally as we are, we have one spot in Ontario where we can play right now, but we're not allowed our heavy death metal bands. I've got to bring in the lighter bands, Late Night Trouble, awesome rock and roll, kind of heavy, on the verge of heavy, but they're really good for that. Electric Dead, we had the Steel Cat Revolution, which isn't even their name, but they loved it, so they went with it for the night. But our show in October is all death metal, like Thy Kingdom, Thy Enemy, Kingdom of Nightmares, Dead Man's Prophecy out of Montreal, Last Dance Amongst Wolves. Like, we have Deadwood we want to bring down. Oh, we have to talk after the show,
Yeah.
man,
Oh, dude,
And,
man, I'm in. I'm down. You actually mentioned friends of ours. I know the guys, a couple guys out of the Electric Dead, because they're from our area. They're
oh
awesome.
fuck, they played one of my shows last year, and then they played my main show this year and headline for me. Fucking great time they had, right? So all your food's provided. Fuck, it was so good.
Dude, yeah, talk to me, man.
Mm, definitely, we'll figure something out. The guys from Montreal are always bugging me. Let's put something in Toronto or somewhere in Ontario. They want to come. That's all they want, right? Like, so we'll talk definitely 100%, man. I'll get Hollywood on it too. She does a lot of her behind the scenes. Big shout out to Hollywood, by the way. Fucking doing the she organized tonight with you guys, obviously, all the other bands we've had lately, right?
Awesome.
Yeah. Any big shout outs you got to give out tonight? Fucking.
To like, I mean, shout outs for obviously, I mean, like for the recording our album, we Christian Dawson like did an amazing job. We can't even believe we got to work with him, and now we've it's been quite a while now that we've had these mixes back, and props to him and Sarah, his wife, for helping us out, like kind of getting us in the right headspace to move forward with doing what we need to get done for the album. And we hooked us up with John Asher, who's helping us out with like PR and all that good stuff, and it's been nothing but great as far as that's concerned. And then for our guys like that are local, definitely want to shout out like our boys in Us Alike that are local. Duskwalker, Sky Caught Fire. It's another one that we seem to always play shows with in our hometown. We're playing a lot with a band called Sinner AD, we've this. It just seems like there's a bunch of good bands in and around us locally, and then even around Ontario as well. It seems like maybe I don't know what it's like for you, but it seems like there's a bunch of stuff like just cropping up. Maybe a lot of bands got made over the pandemic, and yeah.
Oh, for me, I really noticed Montreal and Ontario were neck and neck. Montreal is pumping out the tunes, but they've been slowing down, and Ontario's been picking up, man. So we're like neck and neck right now, and I'm loving it because I love both fucking provinces, man. Fuck, so many great music and bands out of Ontario and Montreal, but BC's coming a long way. They've got a really great scene. We just had a great band,
Oh my God, yeah.
Giants by them. Yesterday we did a triple show. One of the bands from out west there. We'll have to double check just because I deal with so many bands. Sometimes it gets crazy,
Yeah.
like holy man. All right, but yeah, and then
Cool.
Frank, we've had quite a few bands. We just had a big, huge band out of Israel just the other day, man. Him and I had a fucking fantastic fucking conversation, and when I asked him about his local bands, he rhymed off like 15 other fucking heavy metal bands. And you wouldn't think, like, you're like, I kept saying, I'm a dumb Westerner, just a Canadian guy who watches Fox News. Tell me what the music scene's like there, like,
Yeah.
like, oh, dude, it's not what you think. It's not what you get on your news, man. Like, we're doing all right over here, like.
Yeah, it's good to like actually hear it from somebody who's actually there, right? Because like, who knows what the media's shitting out these days, right?
Yeah, it's all garbage, right? Fucking, you might as well be a reality show in that sense, all
Well,
scripted.
that's why I'm so happy that the pandemic thing's over, that we can finally get back to doing shows. Because like, I don't care one way or the other. Like, I can't play shows and see my friends and play metal, and like a lot of my buddies and bands, like they can't do anything either. And it's like, see, it is what it is. But like, this is like my release, keeps me sane, and I'm sure it's like for a lot of people. So it's great to like finally see it happening again. Like shows are flying around like crazy.
Yeah, that comes up a lot. How music is our therapy. It's our release. I know you can listen to it all you want in your car and your headphones, man, but to actually go to that bar or that stadium or that show for like 3 weeks afterwards, I walk on a cloud, bud. It's like, whew, I feel so relieved and so, overwhelming of joy and happiness, even though everyone looks at it like it's violent and chaotic and satanic, but it's not, you know what I mean? Like,
Oh yeah, it's funny. Like I see most of the easiest going guys that I know, like like just like crank the most brutal death metal, and then they're like like watching cartoons and stuff like that, right? So
setting
it's
straight, going to the pound and stuff, and fucking like it's weird, man. And another thing that comes up a lot, other genres like metal heads listen to other music where other music doesn't listen to other music in that sense. Like, what are some of the offbeat music that you fucking listen to that people would think, oh,
oh
you're
man.
just but yeah.
So every time we practice, like, and it's like on a weekend where none of us have to work the next day or something like that, we just hop up to the guys, like we jam in the guy's basement. So we just hop up to his kitchen, turn on
Yeah.
the radio, and then it's just 80s karaoke. We're listening to like like Tears for Fears. Toto comes up a lot. But like Stan Rogers, great Canadian, folk guy. We connect to him so much because we even started playing him before our set just to kind of get everybody going. Like everyone's listening to metal, like the entire set or show that we're at. And then all of a sudden we'll just slip a Stan Rogers song in there, and like people, you just see him like, what is this? This is kind of cool, And to your point, like you want to listen to something that's like, like. I'm pummeling like metal all the time. If I was to be like that all the time, I might, become a serial killer or something like that. So I
No,
gotta
yeah.
babies,
See why people have that stereotype about us, but it's not all doom and gloom and metal. Sometimes I listen to Celine Dion, fucking Adele, and screaming at the top of my lungs. You know what I mean? Like, I'm huge
Oh yeah,
into the old school blues, right?
yeah.
Sunday the Thunder Bay, amazing blues and jazz artists. Like huge shout out to Adam, fucking Adam York, baby. Said, hey. I haven't seen him watch in a bit here now. He finally commented.
Sick.
Huge thing that I have to ask every time. Your merch, your t-shirt, CDs, where do we find that? Where's the best spot to support you guys as a band?
You know what? Just jump onto our Bandcamp. I think it's like, I forget, Bandcamp, Eaten by Sharks, something like that. I'm sure if you Google it, you can come out to it. We have merch up there, so you can get our physical CDs. We got a bunch of different shirt designs. We actually just had to re-up on a couple of the designs we had because they were selling pretty good. So definitely go and check it out. We can get it mailed all across Canada, internationally as well, like in different, just worldwide. We spend a little bit on shipping, but it's worthwhile to like feel good to like, get your CDs out to like Japan and Poland and all these different spots, Germany, right?
Then when that tour comes and they call you, you got fans, people will be wearing your shirts. Say, hey man, like you guys haven't done it internationally yet, like toured in Poland or Ireland or anything like that, eh? So imagine that you get on stage and people are wearing your t-shirts already. That'd be so sick. But
That'd be sick.
yeah. What's the biggest stage you've been on? Like, I'm picturing you guys on a fucking like 50,000 people out there just moshing and shit.
We'd love to play like a floating stage. That would be amazing. Bucket list, just like right out in the ocean, right?
Yeah.
But we played a couple of big rooms. Nothing too crazy though, like just like 300, 200 people. Like our last show that we played, my favorite place for us to play is like our local place. A couple buddies of mine opened it up down. It's called Warehouse Concert Hall. We played that, and it was for our release, and obviously It ended up selling out, which was good, but it felt kind of weird because we sold out and then like we had to turn people away. So like, I don't like that because I want everybody in there. Like, fuck the fire code. Let's go. But again, you got to be safe and all that good stuff. People the pyro. We don't use pyrotechnics. We use inflatable sharks, so it's safe, right? So.
Oh, that's always a trick. We talked about that the other night with pyrotechnics and stuff like that, and how the one band, 3 of the members are pyrotechnics, but they still don't use pyro just because like it's so dangerous, and they're still working out, how to actually properly do it. But it's like a ballet or a dance. We got into that especially when you get into that, you got to be at a certain point at a certain time of the show, or else you're getting fucking toasted.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like it's a dangerous. It's not all hookers and blow, baby. It's like people don't understand that sometimes, right?
Well, that was that old generation, right? That's what it was. That's what rock and roll music was. It was in videos. It was on TV, like Kiss, right? All those old videos of them, like with just
Guns and Roses.
Full of women. Yeah, it's like, okay, but nowadays not that anymore, and things have changed, and I think for the better in a sense. Like, it's just concentrate on music, man.
Like we don't need that to make great music in that sense. Like, I know every artist in that we're all tortured in one way or another. That's where we inspire a lot of our inspiration comes from in that sense. But it's still on the same end. It's way better without all that shit. You know what I mean? Like you said, let's just do the music and then have beers afterwards. We'll eat a gram or 2 mushrooms after the fact, but let's get the music out there first and then experience it.
Well, there's nothing worse than like starting to have a 2-4 or something like that, sitting down writing music. Like me and my guitarist Dan, when we first got together years ago, trying to like write songs and stuff. Then it got to the point in the night where we're just like, your brain is not telling your fingers what to do anymore, and it's just like, okay, we're done. Let's just eat pizza and watch movies because there's no point in keeping on going from here.
I've had a few nights just beyond wasted. I'm gonna jam, play 2 notes. Nope. Put that away. Everyone's like, oh, I'm like, no, it's not happening, man. No way, right?
I know.
Yeah. But you live and you learn, you know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
That's kind of in the same aspect of where the industry is now. We've kind of grown up as far as the metal scene has come. And it's definitely, like you said, for the better. And I look forward to seeing even more now that the world's opening up again, man. Oh, my God. To be in a pit, to be on stage again. Fuck, I can't wait.
Yeah, it's great, man. It feels good. It feels good. There's a different energy in the crowd, I think. Like everybody's just like they're ready to rip.
Yeah, and you see a lot of other people out now that normally wouldn't come to those shows, but because they've been cooped up for fucking 3-4 years, they don't care. I'm coming. We're going to that bar and we're watching this show, and they have a great time, and they support the. Now we got new people coming to the shows now, you know what I mean? So can't argue with that.
No, you can't. Like, it's gonna hopefully like open people's minds up, because man, if you experience metal live, you get to see what it's all about. You know what I mean? Like this guy up on stage playing what he's playing, and it's all real. It's not just like a guy in the studio getting a really good take and doing a few different times. It's like these guys are actually like playing that double bass exactly like it is on the album. But it's like, it's something to experience. Like, especially some of these tech bands, I can't believe how tight and how many notes you can hear. I used to be the whole thing was like, if you play too many notes, you can't really hear what's going on live. But now with the technology that they got and the sound guys and all that kind of stuff, it sounds like I went to go to see the Tech Trek that came through with Arcspire. Like, those guys are very quick, and like I could hear everything that they were playing. It was crazy.
Yeah. It's amazing how smooth people can be in that sense nowadays. Like, the guy I room with is a sound guy. I'm gonna have him on the show here before he takes off, and he's done sound since the fucking 60s, like on tour with all these bands and shit, man. he'll tell you the same shit, man. Like the newer guys are just blowing the old boys out of the water, man, with their technical, like how technical and how clean they are, regardless on how stored and like oh, it's amazing, man. Fucking
Well, I think it's opened up a lot with the ease now for you to get a home recording setup. And I know that as soon as I started to record myself, things got different because you're like, whoa, hold on a second. Like, I need to play that better. Then you re-record it. You try it over and over again until you finally nail it. And then that becomes how you learn, how you get your dexterity, how you become. I'm not playing with a metronome anymore. I'm playing with a drum machine, but the drum machine is in perfect time, right? So it's always good to like play with a metronome to get the chops up and whatnot. But if you're playing along to like your beats of your programming to write songs and stuff like that, then it's just as good. And like that's what kids are growing up on. Like, we thought. I remember when I was a kid seeing Meshuggah, for example. I'm like, how can that drummer play like that? But then you know kids are growing up on that, and then they're adding that to their thing that they're learning, and then the next guy's going to come out who's going to incorporate that into their style and maybe do it a little bit better. I don't know.
it's like sports or athletics or anything kind of in that aspect. You could be the best of the best, but there's always someone that heard your shit and trains even harder. You know what I mean? And then they're always going to be better than you in the end. Like, but even
Yeah,
though you inspired them and made them who they are, they're better than you. It's just a fact of life in that sense. But it's no different than you growing up listening to your idols. You learned every song they have, right? And then
yeah.
you start writing your own shit. It's even more technical, even more advanced than what they have in that sense. But that's the evolution of music in general, especially our music, because there's so much to go with and so much to learn.
Oh my God. Yeah, like metal. How many subgenres are in metal?
I didn't even know until we started doing the show. There's got to be like 300. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I've even not long ago. I'm actually wearing Code Orange, their sweater. When I seen them, they had a sadcore band open for them. I was like, "What is sadcore?" I heard a couple songs. I was like, "It's not for me," but like,
Yeah.
apparently it was heavy metal, or in the metal genre, right? But
Yeah. Yeah. Like that's a good band you brought up there. Like Code Orange. They're kind of like some of the new you know, gatekeepers, not even gatekeepers, but new style of band that came out. It's like it's got its roots in some of that stuff, but it's kind of a different feeling, right?
yeah, yeah, it's very. They're very diverse in some of their music. Like sometimes it's fucking just raw, and then other times it's all over the place. Up here, and then they go down here, and then they're back. But they are definitely one of the best stage shows I've ever seen, man. Both
Oh my
times
God.
I've seen them, fucking fantastic, buddy.
The lights alone, man. Like, oh my God.
Yeah. Do you guys use a lot of lights and stuff then when you're on stage nowadays, or?
No, not so much. We're trying to work out like how to get. We've got a guy that's willing to do it. It's just we have to start, seeing if we want to build a rig to get it going on or whatnot, or just how we're going to go about that. But man, when you get somebody working your lights a bit, it does definitely make a difference.
Oh yeah, yeah. Oh, 100%. Like much as I love seeing people jam, but it's always nice to see that show, whether it's lights, bar, or, like you said, inflatable sharks come out and shit. Like you
Oh
can't
yeah.
argue with them, you know.
Yeah, we grabbed a couple of inflatable sharks for a few shows, and it cost us like $25 a shark, but it was the best bang for your buck we ever got. We threw those things out into the crowd, and people just started like throwing them everywhere. Man, it was crazy.
Yeah. I seen Tragically Hip down in New York in Woodstock '99, and people like hundreds of Canadians bought blow up Canadian or killer whales. And when
Oh
they played fucking New Orleans is taken, those things came out by the hundreds, bud. Fucking just popped up out of everywhere. And he did the whole version, everything right. Like it was just
Yeah,
fantastic, man. I can only imagine, you know.
that's crazy. And the crowd did that without prompting from the band, I
Yeah.
guess.
No, they were all just ready for that band to come on, man. I want to hear this song. So as soon as they hit the first couple of notes, they knew they were doing the Killer Whale version. And fucking like it was happening, man.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, it was pretty cool, man. Pretty sick.
The crowd has spoken. Yeah.
Yeah. Have you guys ever had that moment on stage where the crowd was like, "We didn't hear this song. We want to fucking hear it. Encore, encore." You know?
Well, we've got a few encores and stuff like that, but I always like wonder if anybody knows what the difference is from song to song sometimes because it's got a lot. Well, when you're playing technical death metal too, or something that is a little bit progressive, it's kind of hard to like get a part where everybody can sing along to type things. But yeah, definitely have had the opportunity to play some of our older songs that like people might understand. Like we have this one called "End Your Existence Now." That has like a very like noticeable like longer intro to it that people seem to resonate to off of our very first EP in 2013. But yeah, yeah.
That's cool, man. That's pretty cool. It's always nice to hear the encore. Even my birthday bash, we had Late Night Trouble and that Electric Dead played, and then Late Night Trouble finished out. Wasn't a lot of people because it rained and shit, so we got rained out. But everyone was screaming the encore, and they did a couple extra songs for us and stuff. Like, even though the smaller crowd, it's always nice to fucking to feel that and hear that. It's humbling in that aspect, you know.
Yep, they want the. It's good to hear that like they've been rocked. They want some more from. It's like they're not done yet. No.
Yeah. No, we want one more tune at least. Make it a good one, right? Fucking.
Yeah.
Well, I know we both worked all day and shit. We're both sitting in our vans and stuff, man. Is there anything else for tonight? Obviously, you'll be back on again and we'll have a little more time and shit, but
Yeah, let's do
anything.
that. Like and you know what? We've got to definitely talk after this too. The only other thing I'd say is just check us out on our Instagram and Facebook for anything shark wise. We got a couple shows coming up. I know that we're doing Ottawa and the Atria next weekend. And
Oh,
then we're going
dude,
on.
I'm home this weekend and I live in Oshawa.
There you go. So that's within the act of violence. Those guys.
Oh, I fucking had them on the show like 3 or 4 times now, man. No way. Oh, I've been on the road too long working. I'm so out of touch on when people are playing and where they're playing it. Like, but if I'm home, bud, you're gonna see me, man. 100%, I'll be there. I'm
All right,
literally
man.
like a walk from that bar.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah, we played there a couple times. Not all. I don't think we played there in Sharks, just in some other band I was in. But yeah, it's always a fun time, and I played with Kenny a couple times too. He's always good for a couple laughs.
Oh yeah.
And yeah, we got a couple of shows coming up. We're coming. I think First Fragments coming through on the 20th, 21st, and 22nd. So we're gonna do hopefully Barry's not 100%, but I think it's going to be Barry, Kitchener, and then back in St. Catharines for that metal fest I got going on. So things are starting to pick up. We're getting a lot of show opportunities, and we're planning on playing a shitload of shows next year.
Oh, I can't wait, man. Because next year, my job's pretty cool with me having to leave because my passion, my career. Actually, my boss is the lead singer of Fortunate Losers, so he knows what it's like being in a band and trying to fucking do the art scene, trying to make shit happen, right? So I can't wait, man. It's gonna be exciting. And you guys are local, man. Got a very good friend out of Niagara too. So when you guys have shows in Niagara, let me know. I got a place to crash and everything. I can come on down.
Dude, yeah, if you're not doing anything on the 22nd, it's going to be a good time.
Yeah, I think the 22nd, I could, depending on the weather, I could probably do that. Because on the 28th, we head down to Maine to do our October Halloween show. There, we do it in Maine, Portland, right? So this year it's an 80s theme. $10 at the door. BYOB. No fighting. Good to go. Right?
Yeah, save some money, right?
Yeah. No, 100%. So next year we'll definitely be talking. If you guys can travel to the States, that'd be you guys fit on that bill perfectly with the other bands, man. Like,
Oh, dude, yeah, that's the plan. Like, we got to get things sorted out with, passports and stuff like that, just to make sure we can get over the border. But we've been approached with by a couple of people, so we definitely want to hop the border. And like, there's some venues I love over in the States. The Mohawk place. Have you ever been there in Buffalo?
yeah, that's a very nice place to fucking play, man.
It's it's a cool bar. Just like a very like an old school bar, whatever, pub, and then it's got that nice little room there, and we've seen I see Dying Fetus there.
Nobody ever mentions that band. Dying Fetus are so underrated, but fuck, they're amazing.
I think I've seen that band. That's the band I've seen the most live. I don't know what it is. It's just I've seen so many. Gone out to see some shows where they've opened up or been like the main band or whatever. And it's amazing that those three guys put that much sound together. It sounds huge.
I remember I seen the band Avatar. We drove all the way to fucking somewhere in New York and seen them. I'll have to look back, but it was them, a band called 68, and it was a 2-man band. And the drummer was so hard, bud. He broke the drumstick. Well, guess who fucking caught the drumstick that flew off his drum? This guy right here. So after they got it signed up and everything, but being a 2-man band, they blew me away, man. Fucking fantastic show.
I seen the 68. They came by and played a small venue in St. Catharines over here. And they did the same thing. They rocked it. The guitarist was standing. It felt like he was standing on the drums and had his hat on the tip of the hi-hat stand at one point. I'm like, how is this even? It was so amazing to see. And some of the songs that they were playing in between, they cut out to what you're saying, some really cool blues songs from the 30s or even earlier than that, maybe. I don't know. It was just, it sounded so cool. Then the contrast of them going back and slaying some crazy energetic punk or rock music, right?
Oh, they were fantastic, man. I got a picture with the drummer holding the drumstick and everything. It blew me away. Avatar, fantastic band, don't get me wrong, but that band blew me away that night. The 68 were fucking fantastic, man. Really stand out in my brain,
Yeah, I think the guitarist singer is from a band called The Chariot or something like that. He used to be around from the kind of the early 2000s.
Yeah, that very well could be, right? But
yeah.
Well, once again, man, we definitely need to talk. We'll find each other. You have my email now and stuff, and then we'll definitely start planning for next year, man. Fuck, I'd love to bring a half dozen bands from Montreal your way and put on a festival. You know what I mean? So
yeah, man.
Definitely. So play it loud, play it proud, baby. And we have merch. Our commercial will launch tomorrow. Hopefully I have everything done after. That's another thing I got to do tonight. People don't know. Now I got to spend 2 hours editing a commercial for our new merch, baby.
Nice.
And you guys have merch as well. Bandcamp is the best spot to find you guys. Eaten by Sharks. Check these fucking guys out. They're super heavy, super amazing, man. And I'll talk to Hollywood, find out when our next shows are, and the links for these guys are below in the description, and then they're above in the title. So that's it, basically.
All right, bro. All right, thanks for the time, dude. Peace.
Anytime, man. Like I said, get a hold of Hollywood and I. Anytime you got new stuff, let us know, and we'll send you over the calendar. You guys are welcome anytime on the show, but anytime.
Word up. Yeah, thank you. It's been a slice, and we'll definitely do it again. Thanks.